Did Iran corner Trump into quietly lifting major oil sanctions, turning battlefield pressure into economic leverage at the negotiating table? After the UAE attacks sent shockwaves through an already tight oil market, is Washington's move effectively an admission that its maximum pressure strategy has backfired? Trump publicly warned Iran that the clock is ticking while privately signaling openness to oil relief. Is he slowly giving in to Mojtaba's demands to keep the global energy system from cracking? Reports say the United States has agreed in principle to a temporary waiver or easing of sanctions on Iranian oil exports as part of ongoing peace negotiations with Tehran. This reported move followed Iran's submission of a new 14-point peace proposal, which was sent to Pakistan to act as a mediator between Tehran and Washington. According to Iranian outlet Tasnim news agency, the new framework represents a shift in the U.S. position on sanctions and economic pressure. The report suggested that Washington may temporarily ease oil sanctions using existing mechanisms under the U.S. Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, rather than through new legislation. Iranian officials have not yet formally confirmed that any such temporary sanctions waiver or oil export relief has been finalized. Tehran, however, continues to publicly demand the full removal of all U.S. sanctions as a core condition of any final peace agreement. Iranian leaders also insist that sanctions relief must be clearly written into the final peace understanding, not left as discretionary or reversible steps. Pakistani sources indicate that Islamabad has already conveyed Iran's revised peace proposal to U.S. officials as part of its mediation efforts. Just a day earlier, Donald Trump warned that time is of the essence for Iran in a new post, casting the standoff as a race against an invisible deadline. He said Iran must get moving fast on a ceasefire arrangement or face what he described as major consequences from the United States. The warning landed while talks over Iran's nuclear program once again appear stalled, deepening uncertainty over whether negotiations can still head off another round of strikes. Trump has also threatened harsher military action if Tehran does not comply with U.S. demands, signaling that any future campaign could be broader than the last phase of the war. Interestingly, this renewed war talk comes at the same time as reports that U.S. munitions and readiness levels are under strain, raising questions about how long Washington can sustain another major Iran surge. On May 17th, a drone strike caused a fire at an electrical generator associated with the Barakah nuclear power plant, instantly raising alarms about the vulnerability of critical energy infrastructure. The attack occurred in the Al Dhafra region and, crucially, outside the plant's heavily protected inner perimeter, allowing Emirati officials to stress that the reactor itself was never in direct danger. Abu Dhabi's media office reported that no injuries were recorded and that radiological safety levels remained unchanged, seeking to calm fears of any nuclear leak or contamination. Authorities emphasized that the blaze was quickly contained by emergency teams and did not breach any of Barakah's core nuclear safety systems, framing the incident as a security warning rather than a nuclear accident. So far, the UAE Defense Ministry has publicly maintained that the source of the drone attack is unknown, keeping its official language carefully neutral. Unlike previous incidents, Abu Dhabi has pointedly avoided directly accusing Iran, a notable change in tone that has fueled speculation about other possible culprits. Iran's Tasnim news agency quickly raised questions about possible Saudi involvement, highlighting regional rivalries and hinting at tensions that go beyond the usual Iran-UAE narrative. Tasnim claimed that relations between Riyadh and Abu Dhabi have recently entered a cold phase, suggesting that political friction could now be spilling over into the security realm. All of this is unfolding as Saudi Arabia and the UAE increasingly disagree over key parts of regional security strategy, from Iran and Yemen to energy policy and ties with Israel. Amid fresh warnings that the ceasefire could collapse, a new account of the UAE's behind-the-scenes role is shocking the region, casting Trump's Gulf ally as one of the loudest voices for hitting Iran harder. According to this report, shortly after U.S.-Israeli strikes began, Abu Dhabi pressed its neighbors to join a broader regional response, trying to turn limited retaliation into a Gulf-wide front against Tehran. Mohammed bin Zayed personally urged Saudi Arabia and Qatar to participate in a joint answer to Iranian attacks, arguing that only a united wall of states could deter further strikes. MBZ is reported to have believed that if the Gulf stood together, politically and militarily, Iran would think twice before firing on oil terminals, towers, and airports again. Instead, key partners including Saudi Arabia and several other Gulf states refused to sign up to a retaliatory campaign, judging that escalation carried more risks than benefits. Some leaders are even said to have told MBZ bluntly that this was not their conflict, signaling they were unwilling to be dragged deeper into a fight they saw as primarily US-Iranian. All of this unfolded as Tehran fired nearly 3,000 drones and missiles at targets inside the UAE before the April 8 ceasefire, turning Dubai and Abu Dhabi into frontline cities overnight. Iran's barrages also struck ports, airports, towers and hotels across the wider region, underscoring why some Gulf rulers feared any additional strikes might only invite more destruction at home.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.